Hello, and welcome to our final read-along episode of Pig-Headed and Well-Read. Today's episode covers chapters 50 through 55. That's the end of the book, so if you're listening to this, it should not even be possible to spoil anything for you. You should be done. If you're not done, finish the book, and then come listen to this. We'll talk about it all. We've been releasing episodes every Tuesday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and our YouTube channel. This is the last pod we have recorded as of today. If and when we do a mailbag episode or a watch along for when the show comes out, they will appear on the same feed. We may also decide to do a season 2 with a different Steinbeck book or a book by a different author altogether. So keep that in mind. As always, you're welcome to reach out to us via social media or our email at pigheadedandwellread@gmail.com. And for the last time, here's our content warning. Due to the nature of East of Eden's story and characters throughout this podcast, we'll be touching on some mature and complex themes, including but not limited to violence, abuse, suicide, alcoholism, racism, war, death, and sex work. So if these topics are difficult for you, please listen with care. Ethan, what are you most excited about hearing us talk about in these last 5 chapters?
Well, I mean, it's the finale. It's the resolution of all of the 20 hours of podcasting that we've been doing and reading, and so I think I'm most looking forward to listening to all the stuff come together, and then to hear our final thoughts on what we made of the novel. I think is the back half of this episode. So it's great. It's a great book.
Yeah. I will tell you, and you might notice this if you listen to the pod. Ethan asks me, what did you think of the whole book? And I was not ready for that question. Shocked that he asked me what I thought of the whole book, or if I liked it. He was like, "Did you like it?" I was like, "Oh no, like I didn't even think about that. Did I like it?" But yeah.
But you had a good answer.
I pulled it together, as I'm wont to do. So, but great. Well, without further ado, let's kick it back to our past selves and listen to their finale.
Kate figures Joe out and sends his information to the sheriff who she's buddy with, and then ponders her own life and self and sense of worth. And there's a little bit of Alice in Wonderland, which I thought was bizarre, and then she kills herself.
Yeah.
So Kate's done. The next sentence will be that it's just like a lot happened now that I'm thinking about this chunk here. But the sheriff then goes to Adam to tell him that Kathy killed herself, and then they realize that they haven't seen the boys in a while, and Cal drops the line, "Am I my brother's keeper?" in Steinbeck form, and because Aaron is out with the army in the war. Adam, now knowing that his son is... Oh, okay. So Aaron dies. And this sends Adam into... He has a stroke on a stroke, basically, and ends up on his deathbed, and Cal feels horrible, but on his deathbed, Adam sort of forgives Cal with the word Timshel.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that might be our longest 3-sentence summary.
Yeah, a lot of run-ons there.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into it. Let's do it.
Okay. Chapter 50.
That's right. It is me. I feel like I've never even started an episode. I feel like we've always started on an odd. So this
It's refreshing.
Like the rhythm's all off. But anyway, so this chapter, it starts with Joe, and he's kind of watching Kate, and she's being weird. And we did kind of guess this, right? I think at the end of last pod, where you were like, "Are we gonna get to know exactly what Aaron said? What Aaron said to Kate?" And we don't, which is such an interesting thing that Steinbeck just does throughout the book, where he's just like, big chunks of action are more inferred than described.
Mm-hmm.
So we get the sense that this is after Aaron came and yelled at her, after the interaction she had, where he's coming, he's screaming, he's crying, she's laughing at him as kind of a defense mechanism. Cal's there smirking, all satisfied with himself, and now it's the morning after, and she's just kind of still. Um, and Joe kind of plays himself here because she's really not that concerned with him. Like she couldn't have been thinking less about what Joe had going on, but he's
Mm-hmm.
just like watching her stew, and he's like, I mean, I think this is something that happens where like you don't know if someone's upset with you or you don't know if they know something about you, and so you're you're like, I don't want to mention it, I don't want to come out and say it, and then it's like, well, I want to know if they're thinking about it, so you hint at it, and then it ends up kind of giving it away
Mm-hmm.
unintentionally, and that's pretty much what Joe does, right? He's like, she's sitting there thinking about her son, thinking about her life, and Joe's like, hey, remember that Ethel thing that I was supposed to take care of? Like, well,
Is now a good time?
someone mentioned Faye, and like that maybe you had something to do with that. And like he's like, I don't even know who Faye is. And she's like, you don't know who Faye is? The lady who owned this house that everyone knows who that is? And he's
Mm-hmm.
like, dang it.
It gave away everything.
Just like
If he's lying about that, yeah.
immediately blows his cover. And like it's funny because you get his like internal monologue of like, don't blow it, don't blow it, don't blow it. And then like the first thing he says blows it. And so like Kate is onto him immediately, and she's like, what if I give you some money and you go figure this out? And she gets him out of the house, and then she gets one of her whores to deliver a letter to the sheriff, basically being like, hey, you should check on Joe, he might be someone else, you should get him fingerprinted. um but and this isn't a big deal as far as the plot goes, but I do think it's interesting the way Kate goes about getting this letter delivered, because she calls in Teresa or Therese, and she gives her a bunch of tasks. She's like, I need you to go pick up chocolates, I need you to go do this, I need you to go see this person. And then like kind of as she's leaving, she's like, hey, and drop this in the mailbox. um and I think that's smart, because like if Teresa's leaving and Joe asks like, hey, what did Kate ask you to do, the last thing she'll say is, I've got to drop this letter in the mailbox. Like
Yeah.
she's gonna be like, oh,
She'll
I'm
say
picking up some
4 pounds of chocolate is what I have
I'm
to go
getting
get right
I'm
now.
getting a whole bunch of chocolate. um and so yeah, so we know that Kate arranges for his arrest. um and he blew it. And then this part just like completely caught me by surprise. Like I was very much like, all right, last 50 pages, Kate's probably got one last trick up her sleeve. Is she gonna turn Cal against Adam? Is she gonna mess with Lee somehow? Like how is she gonna stick one last knife into this family? And she just kind of like thinks about her life and gets fed up with her twisted hands, and just calls it quits and
Yeah.
kills herself, which I just did not see. Like even as it was being described, I was like, well, she's not. I thought maybe she was gonna like pretend to kill herself and then like escape, and like nope, just
Mm-hmm.
dead. Even after it was like, and she slept in, or like what's like the official. It says her breathing slowed as she grew smaller and smaller and then disappeared. I was like, right, she disappeared out the window to go, and like nope, dead. Um,
I thought
and
it
I
was
guess
so weird that like Steinbeck brings us in with an Alice in Wonderland story where to like protect herself from her enemies or whatever growing up, she would remind herself of the drink me potion Alice in Wonderland, and she'd drink enough to get really tiny, but not enough to disappear, so that she could
mm-hmm.
hide with her friend Alice and be away from these perceived threats. And as I was reading that, I wish that had just been mentioned just once more, maybe in like the first half of the book, that she used this coping mechanism with
Yeah.
Alice in Wonderland. But yeah, the whole idea of that she disappeared as if she had never been. I don't know if she's never been. I mean, she's kind of there's plenty of cruelty, and she's messed up her son Cal because for the remainder of these pages, he's thinking about having her blood in him, and she was going to try to mess up the lives of those people with the photographs. Like, there's plenty of loose ends. It's not like she has never been. So I think that shows how selfish she is. But something selfless was giving all of her money to Aaron on her, like writing that on a napkin before she killed herself.
Yeah, yeah, and I think just knowing that he was her son, like I feel like she allowed herself such little happiness. Like everything was all about who was out to get her, and everything was bad, and she saw all this darkness, and she found out she had this son who was beautiful and pure, and she liked watching him from afar and like kind of seeing what he was up to, and like it does seem like she kind of let down her guard that's been up since she was pretty much born. I don't even think she let her parents in. And then when Aaron comes in and is like hates her, like I think that's just
Mm-hmm.
she's just kind of like, all right, well, that's it. That's all I had
Yeah.
was that little thing, and now that it hates me, I don't care to be alive anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
Do you
so
think that she was introspective enough to ask herself, was my life good or was it bad? Or do you think she hadn't gotten there yet? Because I was thinking that she was maybe thinking about that and realizing her life isn't maybe all that enviable with the death of the other whoremaster in the previous chapters. I think that she was like, at least I can go out on my own terms, control my own fate here. But I don't know if she's even thinking like that.
I couldn't really tell either. Like I do think that seeing the other horror master die and that it was just kind of a solemn thing and then everyone just kind of moves on impacted. I feel like the whole and it was like she had never been. It's kind of an ignominious end to this character. Um and I feel like Steinbeck's trying to drive home that like, well, you can be this kind of evil force and do these bad things and hurt people. But then when you die, it's over and people are happier for it and
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, you did bad things that hurt people, but now that you're gone, it's like, ooh, glad that's done.
Yeah. I was even
Um,
thinking too about the idea that good is never ending, but evil must respawn. It's like, all right, well, to respawn, you have to die first. So Kathy's dead. What will be the next evil that comes to the Salinas Valley?
yeah,
Just the cycle of evil.
yeah. So she dies, and we go back to Joe. Joe's kind of like spiraling a little bit. He's having a self he's doing a self care day, getting a mud facial, trying to calm down
Mm-hmm.
after he feels he's messed things up with Kate. He goes back to the house and he finds her dead. He starts to kind of scavenge through her room, look for valuables. She didn't really have much, so she didn't even have like a silver-backed hairbrush. But he does find her safety deposit box keys around her neck. He takes those. He grabs some papers on her desk, um, and then he finds the envelopes full of blackmail. Right, and so he's like,
Mm-hmm.
"Perfect. This is great. Now I can start blackmailing people." Um, he's excited, but before he can go anywhere, the sheriff's deputy is there, and he's like, "Hey, can you come with us?" Um, Interesting that he goes with him.
Yeah, he just is like, I guess that she gets the last laugh. I think he realized this is all her doing.
But well, like he goes with him because he's like, "Do you got a warrant?" And the guy's like, "No, I just want to talk to you." And he's like, "Okay." And it's like, "Do you
Yeah.
know who you were dealing with, Joe? Like, you think the police randomly came and got you on the same day that you like lied to Kate?
Mm-hmm.
Like, this lady's got machinations. She's got plans." Um, and so then he goes with him, and the deputy kind of lets it slip, like, "Hey, yeah, we're gonna fingerprint you."
Mm-hmm.
And then when Joe hears that, he makes a run for it, gets gunned
Bolt.
down in the street. Um, and yeah, and then that's the end. And the sheriff goes to call it in.
Yeah. Good chapter. Good chapter. R.I.P.
As soon as
Kate.
we met Joe, I was like, yeah, this guy's not seeing the end of this book. He's
Mm-mm.
this guy is pure cannon fodder for Kate.
Yeah. Like even when he asked, he's like, "Oh, whew, it's kind of cold out. Should have got a coat." And they say, "Well, do you want to go get one?" And he says, "No." That's when I realized he was maybe starting the coat thing to try to get out to like make a run for it, but then eventually said, "Not worth it. They already got my number." But
Yeah.
R.I.P. Joe, R.I.P. Kate. So chapter 51 basically transitions perfectly from chapter 50 because we're back with the sheriff and he's rummaging through Joe's pockets. Kate's autopsy is being performed elsewhere, and he's able to snag out of the pockets the will. They call it a holograph will, and the photos for the blackmail photos.
Mm-hmm.
And then he brings in an unnamed, I'm presuming a lawyer or a
Yeah.
judge, somebody, to ask if the will's legit. And he says, yeah, it is, especially because if that's her legal name, because she signs it Catherine Trask, which I thought
Yeah.
was big. And I think that that's why she did it, just to make it a legally binding document. And he says, yeah, this is legit. And then, kind of slyly, the sheriff shows him a photograph of him getting his freak on, a Polaroid of himself. And he realizes, oh, yeah, this did exist. And Kate's been hanging this over my head the entire time. And the sheriff, really cool guy, seems like he'd be a great hang. Um, Burns all of the photos and like opens up the ashtray so that the guy can see them and says, "Go tell everybody else that's on this list that I hand wrote that the photos are done, that they're good now."
Yeah.
And saves a bunch of people and the entire county from going up in smoke.
Yeah, there's a couple well, so Horace Quint, he's the guy that the sheriff he's from earlier in the story, right? He helps when
Yeah,
Adam is first shot. He's the deputy,
right.
right? So
Yeah,
he
because
goes
the original sheriff is unnamed.
the original
She's just
sheriff is
sheriff.
unnamed. Um yeah, and so he's the deputy that helps when Adam's originally shot. So and he is with the original sheriff when they go down to talk to Kate and they're like, "Do not make any contact with these boys," and they threaten
Mm-hmm.
to throw her out. Like, we know what you did. We're gonna let you go. Like, we don't want to cause any suffering. Um, do think it's interesting that like in this like battle of good and evil story that Steinbeck wrote, where it's like it's Kate versus Samuel Hamilton and Adam and her sons, and like who's gonna do the right thing. Like there are just kind of these drive-by characters that are very upstanding, like the unnamed sheriff that very pragmatically decides not to harm the Trask family and
Mm-hmm.
lays down the law with Kate. And then now Horace, who is presented with the opportunity to probably wield more power than, well, to wield that same power that Kate had,
That Joe was hoping to have.
that Joe was hoping to have. That I think, I mean, I don't know. I hesitate to say that anyone, if they found those pictures, would start blackmailing people because I don't think most people have the stomach to blackmail people. Blackmailing people is messy and gross. Um,
As a
and you have to,
reformed blackmailer yourself.
yeah,
Way
yeah.
to
With
get
all
out of
my
that, mate.
experience, yeah. Well, the thing is, like, you just have to be very cool with like, hey, you're blackmailing someone, and they're gonna hate you. They hate you now, and they're like probably plotting on your downfall, and
Yeah.
like you hope that they're scared of you, but they might just be like, all right, I've got to kill you now, like.
Mm-hmm.
So blackmailing is not just an open and shut. You know, it's not like cashing in a check that you found. Um, it's a whole thing. But plenty of people, if they were in the position to blackmail powerful people, they would certainly do it.
Yeah.
Or sell off. You could sell it to someone who would want to blackmail them, right?
Yeah.
Like if
TMZ
a
may have existed.
yeah, if like if you know there's a politician in the files, like you find a rival politician, be like, I have information on your rival. Would you like it? $10,000, yada yada. Um, but the sheriff just, I mean, Horace Quinn, he's just like, nope, burned, done. This evil's over with here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so
And
nice thing
he
for
kind
him.
of realizes too. I think it's time to get out of the game. This is
You
like
know,
This is his last upstanding deed for the community before he thinks that he'll hang up the cleats.
Yeah.
So now he's on his way over to Adams, and kind of a sad observation. He thinks that this home that he's in at Adams' house is like artificially feminine, like someone's trying to make up a home, but
Mm-hmm.
this house doesn't have a woman's touch to it. And he's like, oh, it's probably Lee doing this. And Adam isn't noticing it, as Adam tends to do. Doesn't notice anything.
They just they kind of really quickly mention that like Adam's a Freemason.
I thought that was weird
It's
too.
like how did he get in there? Aren't they supposed to be like secretive and like
Yeah.
Adam's an idiot. Like
Yeah, I was
um
wondering that too. Adam puts more care into being a member of the Masonic Lodge
it's like
than at his own house.
he barely knows his kids and he's like I'm also a Freemason though. Like there's a
Yeah.
map on the back of the Declaration of Independence. I helped draw it.
Yep.
I guard this secret.
Yeah, it's good to see that on page 559 that Steinbeck's still just throwing in weird stuff like that that
Yeah.
don't advance the plot at all. But he lets Adam know that Kate had killed herself, and he
Mm-hmm.
breaks down immediately, crying. And to me, it was a little tender, but also kind of like I wish the reaction of Adam had been, "Thank goodness, she's finally dead," a
Mm-hmm.
relief. But he still kind of has that pedestal that he's propped her up on, even to this day. But after Adams composed himself, which seems really quick, Horace shows Adam the two-line will,
Mm-hmm.
and Adam's like, "Well, yeah, if Aaron knew who his mom was, I don't think he'd even accept this money. By the way, where is Aaron?" So like, he calls for Cal, and Cal comes down, and he's asked about his brother, and he says, "How do I know? Am I supposed to look after him?" And even though I knew that this is a Cain and Abel allegory, that line still was like kind of a jaw dropper. Like that's about as blunt as he could get without naming them Cain and Abel, like he was planning on doing. That this was indeed a Cain and Abel story. Did you have any sort of reaction to reading that line?
Um, I mean, my reaction there was more of like it's like a, come on, dude, like, 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 I understand lying because you don't want people to know that you got into an angry frenzy and tried
Mm-hmm.
to ruin your brother's life and succeeded.
Yep.
Um, uh, but like you could at least be like, no, I mean Aaron does his own thing. Like you
Yeah.
don't have to throw it in your dad's face. Like, oh what? Oh, I'm in charge of him. Like like oh,
Mm-hmm.
come on, man. Like
Yeah, I think his emotions were still pretty raw, but definitely not a good look. And I'm
yeah.
sure that he overheard the sheriff tell him that his mom was dead, and his I don't think Adam's a quiet crier, but Adam's kind of shocked hearing that, and his mind kind of goes to, well, he just went to college, but I don't think he did. He didn't take the gold watch, and Adam mistakenly calls the sheriff George, which I thought was interesting because I thought I'd remember George. Do you remember George from the book? I had to
Isn't
go
that
look
one of
it
the
up.
that's one of the Hamiltons, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a George Hamilton, and
Yeah.
then George is also the guy that Rabbit calls Cal when he gets too drunk, and then goes and takes Cal to Kate's place that first night.
Interesting.
So I was like, huh, it's interesting that twice it happened where somebody forgot somebody's name and used George.
Common name at
Anyways,
the time.
common name at the time. So wrapping up this chapter, Cal goes and gets crazy drunk because he thinks he needs a relief, a reprieve from his pain. The revenge turns out wasn't best served cold because he's not getting the fix he was after. And we learned that after Cal showed Aaron Kate that Aaron hit him really, really hard, a good one puncher, hit him like a whip, and he hasn't seen him ever since. And I thought it was
Yeah.
interesting that Cal sort of had a physical revulsion to alcohol, kind of like how Kate does, but I don't remember if Kate was vomiting alcohol when she would drink it because he actually like gets it out of the system completely, whereas Kate avoids it because she knows that it'll turn her into this lunatic that has no filter on her at all.
Mm-hmm.
But he kind of shakes it off, takes an ice bath, And as he's setting the money that he earned from the bean scheme on fire, one bill at a time, Lee comes in and gives him this lecture that's not a lecture. It's kind of some wisdom. And he reminds him, hey, Cal, remember, your meanness isn't stemming from her meanness. I think last night you were just plain old mean. And that you're kind of full of yourself for beating up on yourself this badly. I think you enjoyed a little bit. And I think that you're a snot nosed kid, which is something Kate even called him back in chapter 39, snot nosed kid. So that would be enough for me to kind of wake up, at least call me a snot nosed kid. That seems harsh of him.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah.
It is a decent reminder that he is a kid. Like, I feel like sometimes I'm reading the book and I'm like, you get frustrated with the decisions characters are making, and then you're like, oh, he's 17. Like, oh, 17-year-olds.
Mm-hmm.
17-year-olds do lots of dumb stuff. I wouldn't want someone to write a book where I'm a character and it ends when I'm 17 and a half. I think not
Yeah.
sure I was the best version of myself at that time.
Right.
You're pretty selfish. I don't know if that's peak selfishness. Abram mentions this too. We haven't gotten to that part yet. Where she talks about when you're a kid that everything's about you, everything's done for you. People around you are kind of ghosts that are furnishing your life.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also funny that
NPCs.
she's saying that because she's also 17, right? And so
Yeah.
it's like I don't think at 17 that's necessarily over for you. I think a lot of stuff is still
Mm-hmm.
done for you, and but good reminder. And Lee does give him a good talking to. Always interesting how Lee really does not care for the wallowing in self pity that Cal does, and Cal does this a fair amount where he does something bad and then bemoans it and is like, I'm so bad, and Lee's like, stop doing this. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, skip this part where you're trying to make yourself feel good by making yourself feel bad, and it's not sincere.
That
Like,
doesn't
so
work.
how about you just try to be better? um
Yeah.
so
And it's funny because later we learned that Lee is a student of Marcus Aurelius, and so no wonder that he's trying to pass all these teachings from meditations down to these
yeah,
boys. It was also, I
it's,
think that was Sam's book that he stole from Sam,
he
right?
did
The
he took
meditations
it
of
from
Red.
him, yeah.
So yeah, that's essentially how the chapter ends. Just Lee giving him another lecture of we aren't who we come from. We have this choice. He's saying everything except the word Timshel. And then they get a letter from Aaron. Indeed, dear father, I'm in the army. I told him I was 18. Don't worry about me. And that's how it ends. And Adam's in a daze. I'll add one more thing. Adam's in a daze. He's like, I guess I read it, but maybe I didn't.
Well, he
Adam's
passed
totally out of it
out.
right
Like,
now.
he read it and passed out and had to be brought home.
Yeah.
So clearly impacted by this news. So
Yeah. I'm surprised Cal doesn't run off and go join the army or pretend to go join the army and then like watch his dad from afar and see if he has that
it
same
would kind
reaction.
of fit his character. It's like, would you be that upset if I joined the army? It's like, well, you didn't. Like,
Yeah.
um, yeah, yeah, Cal. I mean, this stretch is not his finest work.
Mm-mm. No, he was
Um,
he was doing really good up until he legitimately decided that he was going to give his dad the money on Thanksgiving. I thought he was
yeah,
doing great.
it's like I mean, early in the book, Steinbeck does talk about, like, is it like the boiling tar pit? Is that what he calls it? The swamp that's within people.
Oh, like the
What's
the lake, the black lake that
the
creeps up
Black
over the
Lake? Yeah,
fence.
it's like he
Yeah.
had done such a good job, like, fencing it off and, like, realizing that he's responsible for the lake, and like, if he does the right things, like, it'll be safe. And then, like, he just lets it completely overflow and run wild, um and like, I would feel comfortable being like, well, it's Adam's fault for not accepting the gift, but like, Cal had the moment before he gave it where he was like, this isn't gonna go well, and like, what I'm
Hmm.
doing like is not even necessarily like a good thing. I'm trying to buy my dad's love. I know he's not gonna go for this, and then he just does it anyway. And it's like, you knew you knew this would be the reaction, and you knew how it would impact you, and you did it anyway. It's like you wanted to be hurt,
Hmm.
so you could
Yeah.
hold that against him.
Although I don't think that he foresaw Aaron going off and joining the army. That was out of his control.
I mean, did he even like? He wanted to mess him up. Like, I don't
Yeah,
think
just
he, I don't think
yeah,
he wanted him to die, which we know will happen.
yeah.
Um, but I think he wanted to like. He's pretty satisfied that his brother's in the army. Like, it doesn't seem like the news that his brother's in the army does not seem like that hurts Cal. Like, I can't believe I sent him to the army. He's like, okay, yeah, mission accomplished.
Yeah.
Really got under his skin. So, but again, he's 17. It's an unfortunate age. Um, okay, yeah. Chapter 52. We get a little war update. Steinbeck kind of explains the kind of the early 1900s version of "It's over, we're so back." With the war, he kind of explains that like now when people think back on these great wars that America has been a part of, like it's all celebration, and of course we won, and we were superior, and we were marching through Europe and like save the day, and it's like there was a good chunk of time where we thought we were not going to win that war,
Hmm.
and it was mostly sadness over here. So a
Hmm.
little war
And
update.
this is like the third time he's mentioned that the weather was weird and they blamed all the guns getting shot in France. That must have been a real belief. I just think that's very funny.
We don't even know that Steinbeck doesn't believe that. He might still be
Yeah,
like, oh, guns in
he could have
France.
died. He could have died thinking that
We could have died.
guns being shot affected the state of the weather on the coast of California.
Natural, yeah. So we enter into the house, into the Trask house. Adam is concerned that Aaron's not writing him. Lee kind of hits him with a gotcha of like, "Did you write your father?" Adam's like, "That doesn't count. I didn't like my father." And it's like,
Hmm.
"Oh, Adam, like you may have answered your own question there. Like your son might be really upset with you that you never
Yeah,
told him who his mom was,
and
and
Lee
that
called that when they were like 9 years old.
yeah, he's gonna be mad." Um, and then they bring up Abra, and so they kind of task Cal with talking to Abra,
Hmm.
and so Cal goes and finds her, hunts her down, um, starts talking to her. I knew the direction this was going. I predicted this like 2 episodes ago. He feels a warmth. He's like, ooh, that warm feeling of you when you're talking, you're talking to
Love.
someone, you're talking to your brother's ex girlfriend, and you're like, hey, hey,
Hey.
and so he's
and
he's
and he and he resists the urge to go, mommy, like his brother succumbed to immediately.
Adam, what a freak.
Yeah.
So um, he talks to Abra, um, and they kind of hash it out. He kind of asks, like, "Do you hate me? Do you hate me?" And they're talking, and he talks about what he did to Aaron. Um, and I don't know what I expected, but she seems pretty cool with it. I tried to like see if there
Yeah.
was detect any sort of like, why would you do that to him? Like, she says that she knew who the mom was, and clearly she knew enough that like if I told him, it would ruin him.
Hmm.
And obviously Cal knew that too. That's why he told him. But she does not seem to hold that against Cal. She's like, "Oh, good, you told him. Like, I didn't want to be the one to tell him." Um, and then she kind of talks it over that like ever, she hasn't loved Aaron in a while, and Aaron wanted this perfect story, and he was going to do whatever it took to make the story perfect. And she knew that just wasn't going to work, and how she felt like they'd grown apart. She didn't love him, which made me wonder because he tries to become a priest. Um, like a couple years ago, and she tells him
Hmm.
he can't. And so I was like, why didn't you just let him be a priest? And then you could have left if it was so bad. But maybe it got really bad after that. Maybe she still loved him at the time. I don't know. But I did have that thought where she was like, I was stuck with him, and I was like, you could have. There was definitely an out where he was trying to sign up
Yeah.
for a life of celibacy.
I think it's a
Um,
little bit of just teenage revisionist history. I was
yeah,
stuck the whole time when really wasn't until the night before Thanksgiving that you probably really thought of doing this, or all the weird letters he wrote you, and you're like, I don't like
Yeah,
this
I
actually.
think the letters really actually that it was like one semester. Like how many letters could you have written?
He's
Like
he's he did it every night. He
every
sent
night he's writing super horny letters to his girlfriend. She's like, this is gross.
yeah.
But anyway, they talk it over. He invites her to come over the next day. She hits him with the. She tells him she feels free now. It's like, ugh, not good for Aaron. That's tough. You don't
No.
want your girlfriend being like, I'm free.
Yeah, it's a good thing Aaron is actually in Europe right now instead of watching this.
Yeah. Oh man. And then she says, "I think I love you, Cal." And then Cal hits him with the "I'm not good." She says, "I love you because you're not good." And then Cal leaves and comes home and says she's coming over, and Lee picks up that he is excited.
Mm-hmm.
Then we get a little glimpse into Abra's life. At her home, her parents are strict. Her parents are a little tough. And basically the point is she goes and she finds Aaron's letters and she burns them. And she's done with them. It's over. So that's that for Abra and Aaron.
That's that. Yeah, as I was reading chapter 52, and there's like the judge keeps trying to call her dad, but he's like super sick, and Abra's thinking, I don't think he's really that sick. I think he's just hiding from something. It was making me think that the judge was the no-name character that had talked to the sheriff beforehand and was calling him a couple times, and that maybe word had gotten out to Mr. Bacon that Kate had passed away, and now he's thinking, oh crap, those letters have got to be coming in any time with those photos. But then we learn later that he's like doing embezzlement or something like that. But that's what I was thinking. And I was going to say, well, we can go back to week 6 when you said that the Bacons or Mr. Bacon was a frequent
was a patron.
Frequented,
I did say that. Oh, I'm so wise.
Yeah. He never caught on to say it, but I was like, why would the judge be calling him? Because the judge probably has a good understanding of holographic wills. So I think he's on the list. He's on the list.
He's on the list. Release the list. Release the what's the name of her place even? Release Kate's list. The Kate Stein list.
Yeah, the Kate Stein list.
It. Was Mr. Bacon on the Kate Stein list?
I think he was.
You think he was? They put my name on there. I never went to Kate's. I liked farting Jenny's. I'm a farting Jenny's man.
You go to Jenny's. Okay, chapter 53. Abra is definitely legitimately in love with Cal by now, I think. Even though she said, I think earlier, I think it's happening right now.
Yep.
And it cracks me up. This is probably the biggest chuckle of the read for me, is when Lee and Adam are talking one morning, and Adam wants to tell him about this dream he had about his dad. And Lee's like, oh, yeah, I heard he was a really great guy. And Adam turns to Lee and goes, did you know he was a thief? It's so funny. There's a reason I'm bringing this guy up to you right now, Lee. And I think it's a huge turning point for Adam's character because he kind of thought this beforehand, and then Charles came to him with like super damning evidence in like chapter 5. And then he brainwashes himself almost to think, my dad couldn't have done this. This has to be clean money, et cetera, et cetera. And so now that he's starting to like unravel his own past, I think it's just even further proof of how hard he's taking Aaron out in the army. And maybe and kind of like what you said earlier, he's probably thinking about his own relationship with his son and why his son isn't writing him. And now he just has this extra pent up hate for his own father. So very interesting. But we get a nice tender moment between Lee and Abra, but they both admit that they wish that they were family. Lee wants Abra to be his daughter. Abra wants him to be her father. And he gives her his mother's jade button, and Lee's happy. Really nice moment there between those two. I like those two characters a lot in this book. And yeah, Abra's just enjoying a life of feeling relief that Aaron's not there. And
brutal.
Yeah, definitely brutal.
Tough one for Aaron.
And
I'm so glad you're gone.
she's telling, I know, it kind of goes back to was your life good or was it bad? And Aaron thought that he was doing all this good stuff in the 17 years he was alive, but people are definitely really happy that he's no longer around. So how much good was he really doing? But really, really good line here, but from Lee again, where she's telling him that I burned all of Aaron's letters and I've never felt good enough, but now I'm feeling all right. And Lee says, and now that you don't have to be perfect, you can be good. Is that it? And I think that's a really great line because so many of us maybe put undue pressure on ourselves or we try to be impossibly perfect, especially if it's coming from external pressures, like how Aaron was kind of pressuring Abra to almost be this totally fabricated version of herself. It's a good reminder to we don't have to be perfect. And once we kind of shed off this idea that we don't have to be perfect right now, it's so much easier to just be good. And maybe this could have been a line that Lee dropped for Aaron, and it could have maybe altered his trajectory of life, thinking that he didn't have to be perfect. He can just be a good guy. But maybe Aaron was too far gone.
Yeah.
So, and then the end of the chapter, just kind of another weird thing that I kind of sat on this paragraph where Cal is thinking about where could Kate be buried, and I wish that I could go put flowers on her grave. And he remembers the Mexican name for these flowers. He wants to put carnations on her grave, and he realizes that they're actually called, the translation is the nails of love. And he thinks, it actually might be better to put marigolds on her grave because those are known as the nails of death. And I think that shows you how complicated his relationship is with his mom, that he really only had 30 minutes of face-to-face time with. But the nails of death feels like the nail in the coffin, and that he's ready to put her behind him completely.
Yep. All right. Cool. All right, moving right along. Chapter 54.
Yeah,
we get another little war update. We get a little Adam health update. He's ever since Aaron's been gone, been complaining about his eyes and not being able to see, and like I think I need glasses. And Lee and Cal kind of talk about it. Like he doesn't need glasses. Okay, he's just going crazy. Like he's just lost it. All right, you don't need glasses. Your brain is
If I was
broken.
Cal, I would have said he hasn't looked around and seen anything when his eyes were working.
Oh,
burn!
Boom sauce. All right. Anyway, then we get some more Abra and Cal interactions there. They're planning on some sort of picnic.
Mm-hmm.
They go and talk it over. Let's see, was there a time jump here? I thought maybe. I think there was, because it was like...
It seems like there kind of is, yeah.
There was, yeah. There's something of a time jump, so they kind of wait a little while. And then they go and have this picnic, and we don't get that many details about it. They're kind of sitting there, kind of waiting in the water with their feet in there, and she kind of confesses to him that, like, her father's done some bad things. And they kind of commiserate over, like, oh, these are our parents, that, like, we have this kind of badness in us because of them. And then finally this chapter ends with Lee getting a letter in the mail, and he knows what it is, right? He recognizes it. I assume probably people around the Salinas Valley have been getting these letters. He knows who it's from. He knows what it's going to say. And he just kind of seems like he makes some sort of like tonic to give to Adam to kind of
prepare. He's putting it off. Yeah.
And then Adam comes home, and we get another off-screen happening.
We do.
That I guess I'll talk about since chapter 55. It just kind of starts after this. But Adam reads that letter, and Aaron has died, and he has a stroke. So
yeah, has a stroke. It is a really interesting way to put it. Is this Lee here? He says, for about 5 minutes, he said it over and over to himself out loud, and then it seemed to get through into his brain and to explode there. Good visual of just information going into the brain. But Cal is he's trying to process it, it feels like, and the doctors that are there kind of come out and just are super clinical about it, and you're the head of the family now. They're just throwing all this stuff on him. There's a leakage of blood in the brain. There's an earlier leakages that happened smaller. Lee knows this. And I wonder if that's kind of like, yeah, Lee, you did know about that. And this is kind of your fault that you didn't bring him to us earlier. We could have maybe prevented the severity of this.
when he
And
was
so,
when he was losing his sight,
yeah,
and you were just like, I'm just gonna read to him.
yeah.
um,
That's why I think that maybe Lee is really upset at the end of this chapter, like almost uncharacteristically mean to the nurse, even though the nurse is using some racial slurs. But I think he might just kind of feel some that he feels like he might have caused this a little bit.
yeah.
But yeah, the doctors say he could die tonight. He might live for 2 years. We'll never know. And that he may or may not know who his family is. And so really, really tough for Cal right now. And the entire Trask family, I'll just say. So Lee urges...
Who is just Cal at this point. That's
Who's just Cal.
It's only him.
That's very true, yeah. And Lee, I guess, an adopted member of the family. But Cal goes and sits down next to him, and he's like, can you hear me, Dad? It's my fault. I took Aaron to Kate's. I showed him our mom, and that's why he went away. I don't want to do bad things. I just kind of do them. He's kind of getting a confessional out there. And this nurse, kind of rambunctious, walks in and starts getting cool pillows and everything, and says that I need to take care of Adam. You guys should go rest or something. And so Lee urges Cal to go see Abra, which is sort of this master plan because he knows that Abra will say all the right things to Cal. And Cal shows up at Abra's place, and Mrs. Bacon's pissed that he's there. And so Abra has to sneak out of the house so they can talk to each other. And this is for me is where I'm like, we have 4 pages left of this book. This feels like a really weird pacing again. Sometimes, like, that's probably my biggest criticism of this reread is there's just some weird pacing with some of this stuff. Like, why do we need 2 pages of this back and forth between him and Mrs. Bacon? But Aaron, once he's with Abra, he kind of proposes running away to like this tree where he used to watch Abra and Aaron. And Abra says, that's not a good idea. We just got to go back to your place. So they come back. And we're in the final 4 pages of the book, and they're coming back. Nate, at this point in time, 4 pages, what are you thinking is happening?
I mean, so much of what I thought the book was going to be about and what I thought the climax and resolution would be, like, everyone's gone and dead. So,
Yeah.
like, I'm like, there's only so many things that could happen. And so I figured Adam had to die. I was like, he's definitely going down. The question is, like, does Cal do something drastic here, like also kill himself? And then it's like, wow, like we see this whole family just kind of get wiped out by their own
A Shakespearean tragedy.
Yeah. So I was like, that was kind of on my mind. Like, how's Cal going to handle this? Because, like, I'd like to say that he's being dramatic, that it's his fault that his brother's dead, but it's really not. Like, you can pretty direct. I mean, I guess that's kind of
you can go like A to B to C, but you can't like directly say this caused Aaron's death. But it definitely opened up the doors to the consequences that followed.
Yeah, like, you know, like when someone dies tragically, like, people will find ways to like blame themselves. Like, oh, I should, like, if someone dies in like a car crash, like their spouse would be like, I should have told him to not go into work that day. And it's like, you weren't gonna tell them, you didn't know. And it's like, but it's like with this one, like, your brother died, and like a big reason he was at war was because you freaked him out. And like, and like knowingly did something that would set him off, even if you didn't know he would join the army. And like didn't really make any attempt to bring him home. Like, we don't hear about any letters that Cal wrote Aaron being like, hey, I'm sorry, like, please come home. I guess he can't come home, right? You can't just be in the army and be like, never mind.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe that would have been pointless. But like, there's no,
well, because he slugged him pretty good. So like he couldn't have even like go follow him.
There's no record of Cal like trying to reach out to Aaron and say sorry that I did that. I shouldn't have done that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's okay. Like, um, he just kind of made a move on his girlfriend, and that was it.
Yeah.
And so like at that point, I feel like the guilt is got to be pretty intense and pretty warranted.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and now his dad, who he has a really weird relationship, is gonna die because of it. And it's like this could definitely send him over the edge, but obviously
Yeah.
that's not what happens.
Yeah,
Um,
and like his dad dying, and Cal is convinced that when his dad looks at him, that it's just like
that
he's
he's
accusing
accusing
him
him.
of
Yeah.
being a murderer. And Lee has to tell him that's probably just the pressure from the blood in the brain that's making his eyes look like that. But Cal's not going to take that as an
Yeah.
answer. He needs something super concrete. And so they get to the Trask house, and the nurse lets them go in to go see Adam. And in this interesting exchange of events, Lee sort of presents Cal to Adam. He's like, "Here is your only son. Look how hard it is. This He blames himself for what's going on right now, and we don't know how long you're going to live, but he screwed up in his anger. He messed up, and what he really needs right now is for you to set him free." And he tries to get him to like raise his hand to like give him a blessing that he's free, or just make an acknowledgement that he understands what's going on. But the most thing we're really getting is like his eyes are opening and closing, and he's looking at Cal while this is happening. And Lee's just saying, "Give him your blessing, free him." And then Adam really dramatically starts to like his he's starting to concentrate really really hard, and the narrator says that it's almost like the bed's starting to shake. That's how hard he's concentrating. And you can kind of see his lips moving a little bit, and then his lungs filled, and he says the word Tim Shill, and then he dies.
And
And
scene.
that's the book.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's the ending there. Let's get your thoughts first, Nate, on this ending. What did you think?
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. Like so much of what we've talked about has been about how when Steinbeck's writing this, he believes that it's the most important story, that it's the only story.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so like as I close the book, it's like why? And this can just be my Nate's take here. We'll just go right into it. Why would this story be what he felt was so important? Why is this the story? Um, I'm not even sure I'm smart enough to answer that, but I
I think
did.
you are.
Well, I'm dumb enough to try. The like he gives you all these stories, and like I feel like that Black Lake analogy is kind of what he's driving at, where it's like within you, you have to make these choices, right? There's the part of you that wants to do the right thing. There's part of you that wants to be cruel and selfish. Um, and everyone's fighting this battle, right? And you see that through Adam, you see it through Charles, you see it through Aaron, you see it through Caleb. Um, and they all take different paths, right? Like none of them are the same because like he calls it the only story, but how could there only be one story? There's so many people.
Mm-hmm.
But it really is just everyone kind of fighting within themselves. Um, and then at the end, what Lee is saying to Adam is kind of like, you know, when you die, you hope that someone steps in and kind of makes your case for you, right? Like here is this person. Look how hard they tried. Look at the things they've done. They feel bad for them. They want to repent and like not have done those things. Like, won't you forgive them? Won't
Mm-hmm.
you like? Won't you? Yeah, forgive them. Won't you? Won't you kind of wipe the slate clean? Won't you allow them? Won't you give them? Won't you bless them?
Mm-hmm.
And and Adam kind of does. That was my interpretation. That when he says Tim Shell, he's saying like you're free to make your own choices. Like he's freeing him.
Hmm.
That's what he's trying to do. I don't think that was anything but that. And so it's kind of like the story is like you fight so hard to be the best you can be, and in the end you fall short. Um, and you just hope someone will step in and make your case, and that you'll be forgiven.
Hmm.
Um, and that was kind of what I thought with that last part.
I like that a lot. I had never thought of it being like Lee acting as an intercessor on his behalf. So
Yeah.
I think that's really cool, especially because at the end of the book in Christianity, many believe that that's what Christ's role is between
Hmm.
us and God the Father, and so that totally makes sense of this happening right then in this book. That's why Lee was so upfront about pleading for the case because he was begging for Adam to do this for him.
Hmm.
So I really like that.
Yeah, yeah, and I hadn't really considered till the very end that Lee, because there's so many like biblical allusions in this, like oh this is like this is like this, but like I hadn't really considered that Lee was like a Christ-like figure. But once you kind of see him like making Caleb's case here, I feel like you can look back and kind of see that where he's been there the whole time. He took care of them.
Hmm.
Along the way, when people like struggled, he comes in and tries to lift them and help them. And he doesn't ever come in and make people's decisions for them. He never tells people what to do. Like, I mean, he will advise or tell people like, what do you feel like you should do, and try to push them in the right direction. But like, he never just takes over and makes people do things that
Hmm.
way. Um, and so I think yeah, I feel like that has to be what Steinbeck was trying for, right? Where it's this character who is just with this family along the way, trying to help them, um, and who's yeah, that's like, and I didn't really realize it till the very end. So
Hmm. Nice. Probably my favorite Nate take of the season.
got it in right under the wire.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking a little bit about like does Cal know what Tim Shell means? Because I don't know if we ever had any moment
I
where he
imagine Lee will
explained it to him.
explain it.
He'll explain it to him, but I think that it was really, really smart of Adam to instead of just say Cal, like
Mm-hmm.
Lee was asking him to, and then expiring, that he said Tim Shell because I could totally see Cal making the case of you just said my name. You know, maybe he
Mm-hmm.
was going to say Cal, I hate you, but died before he could say I hate you. And so Adam getting Tim Shell off, and then knowing that Lee will be able to explain this to Cal
Mm-hmm.
is great, and it's the best act of fatherly love that he's done this entire time in this entire book because he's able to acknowledge that this past didn't define you, Cal. I'm kind of also, as the father, breaking this cycle of fathers rejecting their children's gifts towards them, and in the actual 11th hour, getting rid of this. And so I think that it also kind of leads up. I do think that Adam forgave him, but I think there's some discourse out there where it's that maybe instead of forgiving him, he's just suggesting that you can still go be a better person with or without my forgiveness. You don't need me to give you my blessing in order to go be a better person. You can just go be a better person. That power is within you. And so the great story, the universal story that I was thinking of is more along the lines of that Cal can choose not to be Cain because the most important decisions come after he's betrayed Aaron. And for all of us, the most important decisions we can make come after we've committed some sort of sin or transgressed or done something horrible. That doesn't define us. It's what we do next. And so that for me was the story that's being captured by all these different people in these 601 pages.
Yeah, I like that too. Very good. Ooh,
Oof. Well,
yeah,
what would you rate this book?
it was good. I mean, I don't even have like a Goodreads where like I've rated a bunch of books to like be like, it falls squarely between these two, and it's like a 7.9. It was good. 4.5 stars. Not my favorite thing I've ever read. Um, I was interested. Obviously, we talked about it quite a bit, and there's
Hmm.
a lot to it, right? It's definitely a book where there's stuff there to talk about. Some books you read them,
Hmm.
and then all that it really means is that something happened. In this book, there was a lot
Yeah.
to discuss. Maybe it is just a full. Did I do 5 stars? Did I say maybe it is 5 stars? I don't think I've ever discussed a book this much. How could I not give it 5 stars, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, yeah, right. It must be
It
5.
must be 5.
Yeah, it's gotta be. I was
There's
thinking
so much
like I was
meat in
trying
this
to.
book.
Yeah, I was
So
trying to
much to
think
chew
like
on.
I. There wasn't a ton that I was like super enthralled by as I was reading it. But like I was kind of thinking like sometimes that's kind of like a like what am I hoping that I'm gonna get like a gunfight like or like
Yeah.
um it's like no it was more of like a slow burn with a lot to analyze. So
Hmm.
it'd be almost disrespectful to give it anything but a 5.
Yeah,
That's
I
fine.
think so. I'm definitely giving it a 5 again. Um, so since the pandemic, that's when I really started to pick reading back up. I counted, and I've read about 140 books since then. And I was like, this
Okay.
is number one for me of those 140.
Wow.
Um, and then there's some that are just really close. Like I really like the first Dune, right?
Hmm.
I think Crime and Punishment is also solid. But I think what's so great about this one is it is kind of like your gateway drug to thinking that you can tackle and understand like monumental pieces of literature.
Hmm.
Is like, oh, it's not too scary. So that's what I like about it. And I think it's just there's so many just nuggets of wisdom in here that we've talked about throughout these 12 episodes, and it's written really well. Yeah, it's awesome. So I might need to read a few more American novels to like state that this is the great American novel, but it is definitely better than The Great Gatsby, and some see that that's the great American novel.
I liked it better than the Great Gatsby. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I don't really have a ton to
Yeah.
say for Netflix.
Yeah. So I mean, adaptation notes wise, like it's it's gonna be I feel like almost a challenge to like pay this off in a way that like I feel like that's a good closing scene, right? But like how are you gonna make it feel like everything was building to that?
Hmm.
And I feel like they're gonna have to invent more Cal and Aaron moments that we didn't get in the book. That that things that happen off screen where it's like they were at school, like so the writers of the show are gonna have to like write some that Cal and Aaron being at school scenes or Cal watching Aaron and Abra together so that like when Aaron dies, that you can try to that the audience can feel the way Cal feels, right? Because they're Cal and
Yeah.
Aaron are still like as people that are acting in the book are still relatively new here at the end of the book. Like
Hmm.
they're not fully fledged characters until like 350 pages in,
Yeah.
and so like you couldn't do the show and be like, okay, we're a little over halfway done with the show. Time to get Cal and Aaron in here. Like those two almost have to be like from the very first episode. This show is about these two brothers,
Hmm.
and anything we're learning about Adam or about their birth or about Kathy's past is all flashbacks or things that people bring up in conversations when they're talking about these two boys. Like the show's going to have to be about these two boys. I feel in order for this moment where Aaron's dead and Cal's begging for forgiveness to pack a punch in a 7 episode series.
Yeah.
Because like I don't know, like if halfway through like episode 5 they're like, and now Cal and Aaron are teenagers. Like I don't think that's enough time for this
Hmm.
to be the moment at the end. Um,
Yeah. I think they might do a lot of flashback scenes, unfortunately.
yeah, well, we started where I was like, okay, so the show will have to start off with Adam and Charles, and then I was like, no, actually, the show needs to start off with Kathy and her
Hmm.
life, and it's like, nope, the show actually is these two boys, and that's what I'm ending on. It's these two boys of the show,
Yeah.
um, and then there will be flashbacks.
Hmm. Yeah, we only really need, I think, for Hamilton's, Sam and Will.
Hamilton's not nearly as involved in the book as I thought they would be. Like
Yeah, the first
when
200
you when
pages,
you look
it's
at
like
my
50-50.
when you look at
Mm-hmm.
my predictions, you see I keep being like, and the Hamiltons are gonna get involved, and they just, I guess Will helps Cal get his beans, but other than that,
Yeah.
they do not jump in there. Like they're not even
Mm-mm.
in the last like 200 pages. Besides Will, like who you don't even like. So
No, yeah. Steinbeck hates him. That's his
yeah,
least favorite uncle.
yeah, worst uncle. Not a title you want.
Yeah.
But that's all I had for the adaptation. So
Yeah. Good adaptation notes. I was thinking maybe that Netflix might jazz up some romance between Cal and Abra overall. Um,
they got it.
and
Yeah, I think so. That's a good point.
and will we see Aaron, like, will we see anything of him in battle, or will we just find out like this? I kind of like just finding out like
That we
this.
never see. The last we see of him is in that recruiting office.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's probably right. I don't think they want to like, just gotta spend a lot of money to make a war scene.
Yeah.
Um, I'd
I
rather
think
see
they
that
could
money
almost
spent
do like
elsewhere.
a Breaking Bad. You know how Breaking Bad loved to start episodes with like this really ambiguous scene that you kind of only getting in like 10% of in the frame. That's like the end of the episode, and then the scene with the brown brown would start, and then you kind of jump back, and then by the end of the episode, you're like, oh, that's where the intro was. I think it'd be cool if in the final episode, before they have the East of Eden title drop, if it's the scene with Aaron in the army recruiter's office,
Yeah.
and you're just kind of like
Okay.
just picking up. You're just like maybe seeing his shoes. You're like, oh, have I seen those? Did they have Converse back then? Have I seen those shoes before?
I don't think they
Who's
had
here?
Converse. In,
And then
in
bow, bow.
they're gonna use the Breaking Bad theme.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna rip it straight off. Like,
yep.
oh, that's good. No, it's the title card's got to be. What's that strings music we were joking about? The
Bum bum bum
boom, boom,
bum
boom,
bum
boom,
bum.
boom.
And just progressive. Every episode it gets sadder and sadder and moving more into a minor
It's
key.
like they put a reverb on it. Boom, 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 boom.
It goes viral on TikTok, being the sing sing from East of Eden parentheses slowed.
Slowed, slowed reverb,
Yeah.
lo-fi. The lo-fi, is that the right word even? I know only ever read that.
I think it's lo-fi.
No, cut it, cut the episode. We're done. Um, yeah, they have like that boom, 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 and it's like Full House style like introductions where like people are like pointing at the camera, and then like it cuts to like Kate killing herself immediately. You're like, oh, like
Uh,
welcome to the show.
that would actually be kind of cool if they did something where each episode you didn't see the character that's passed away. Like BoJack would update their intro scene with stuff that had happened in the season.
mm,
And so the
I
first
haven't thought
first three
about
episodes you get Sam, but then the episode 4 there's no Sam.
no Sam. I haven't thought about BoJack in a while. It's a tough one.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, title card. The I get before we go to Steinbeck stats, we'll wrap on my predictions because I obviously won't be doing any more.
Hmm.
Pretty good last run at it,
A
right? I got
really good
Aaron.
last run.
Aaron goes to war and dies. Nailed it. Adam dies from grief when Aaron dies. Basically nailed it.
I'd say nailed
Um,
it.
Kate kills Joe indirectly, but yes.
Yep. Yep.
I got Cal and Abra married. Feels like it's gonna happen. I feel like we
Hmm.
didn't get a
Hmm.
wedding, but like they're together. And
Yeah.
then one last Kate v Adam interaction. I was wrong there. Um, but went out with a bang, which is
Really good.
impressive
Yeah.
considering I had been ice cold for 90% of the pod as far as predicting what would happen next. I just
Yeah.
nailed the last 50 pages. I'm
Except
in his
for, like I
head.
said, clocking Mr. Bacon as a patron of Kate's.
There we go. Yeah, maybe. Um,
So I made that box pink.
oh, you did. Oh, thank you. There we go. All right, let's hear the Steinbeck stat.
Okay, Steinbeck Stat, last one here, but yeah, it's just the end page of this Journal of a Novel book, and it's what was originally going to be the dedication page for East of Eden, and it was much longer, so he definitely trimmed it down a bit. But it's written to Pascal, the guy he's been writing all these letters to, and he's just saying that his book, he's finished the book, and he says, for years the writer and his book have been together, friends or bitter enemies, but very close, as only love and fighting can accomplish. Then suddenly the book is done. It is a kind of death, and this is the requiem. And he starts to create this almost play-like back and forth between the editor and himself, because he says, once you finish the book, it doesn't just go right to the reader, it goes to the lions. It goes to the editors, the publishers, the critics, the sales department, and it's kicked and slashed and gouged. And so there's just back and forth where the editor's going, hey, the pacing's kind of weird. It's going really slow. And then there's a response by him saying, well, it has to go slow so that you know when it goes fast. Stuff like that. And it's back and forth. And the editor's saying, children don't talk like this. And the chronology is full of holes. It's going back and forth too much. So it's like, I think it's a little bit of Steinbeck almost beating himself up, already trying to predict what the editors are going to do, because he was kind of throughout this entire time thinking this is just such a tough book to write. Are people going to get this? And so he says in his last bit, writer, parentheses, losing temper as a refuge from despair. Damn it, this is my book. I'll make the children talk any way I want. My book is about good and evil. Maybe the theme got into the execution. Do you want to publish it or not? Editors, let's see if we can't fix it up. It won't be too much work. You want it to be good, don't you? For instance, the ending, the reader won't understand it. Writer, do you? Editor, yes, but the reader won't. Proofreader, how you do dangle a participle. Turn to page so-and-so. And from this meeting, a new character has emerged. He is called the reader. And here's how he defines the reader, and I think it's a little bit tongue-in-cheek. He is so stupid you can't trust him with an idea. He is so clever he will catch you in the least error. He will not buy short books. He will not buy long books. He's part moron, part genius, and part ogre. There is some doubt as to whether he can read. And then he says, well, by God, Pat, he's just like me, no stranger at all. He'll take from my book what he can bring to it. The dull-witted will get dullness, and the brilliant may find things in my book I didn't know were there. And just as he is like me, I hope my book is enough like him, so that he may find in it interest and recognition and some beauty as one finds in a friend. And Steinbeck, I think you nailed it, my man. I'll let your words speak for that. Yeah.
He said it. He's just like me for real.
He's just like me for real, dog.
He's just, that is funny. Funny guy at the very end.
Super funny guy.
Yeah, that's good. All right. I like it. Picasso.
I like Picasso.
Yeah, that is frustrating with the editing. You know what? I am shocked that the chapter about his aunt going on a plane ride made it into the book. That's crazy. That is insane that got included. Yeah. That had, like, I tried to appreciate it. It's like, maybe we need this. We didn't need it. I was like, maybe she's gonna come up later, and we'll need to know that later on she gets on this plane to understand why she's like this. Nope. She never came back.
It's so good. It's
He just wanted to tell this quick story. He's like, I don't know how else I can get this in the book.
I need my boys to know this. I know. I think it's funny that Steinbeck wasn't like, I can just write a separate genealogy of the Steinbecks and Hamiltons. No, I'm just going to blend it with the East of Eden, with the Knables.
Probably drove the editor insane, where the editor's like, we could just get rid of the Hamiltons except for Samuel and Will, and they don't even need to be Hamiltons. And he's like, oh yes, they do. he's like, not only that, I'm going to spend a lot of time about some of them.
Well, what about Desi? What are those two chapters where Desi goes and accidentally gets killed? Lives in Tom. Yeah. Essential to the plot. We're gonna have him go right before part 4.
The editor's looking at it. He's like, I could shave off 300 pages, get it to the perfect length if you would just let some of these storylines go that you don't even wrap up. And he's like,
nope, this is my book.
My book. So, but it was good. I like that he won those battles.
Mm-hmm.
I do not care for. I mean, efficiency is sometimes important. I think in art and literature, I do not care for efficiency. I don't. I don't need you to be efficient if you're being passionate about something. I don't need you. I mean, there is an art to when you're writing, like being more concise, because you can accidentally waste people's time. You can talk in circles. You can restate things that don't need to be restated. It's like there is a point where it's like you need to be more concise with this. Like that's often an editor's um, critique is like, hey, you gotta narrow this down. You're spending way too long. You're losing people. But
Mm-hmm.
like there's no way to like be more concise about his aunt getting on that plane ride. Like it's either in the book or it's not. And if it's in the book, you might as well tell that story the way you want to tell it.
Yeah,
Um,
all four
and
pages.
good for you. Good for you that it's in there and that I know this now. Um, yeah, I think efficiency very overrated. Very yeah. So I like it. I like the winding road that we went on here.
Mm-hmm. It's been great.
Even though I'm
It has been
certain it
great.
was driving those editors crazy.
They
Just
were going
stop.
ballistic. Yeah.
Well, probably
All
couldn't have been
right.
his first book. If it was his first book, I don't think he would have had the cachet to keep
No.
a lot of that in there.
Yeah. He had to have written Grapes of Wrath and of Mice and Men to pull that off. I think
Yeah, you gotta have
before
some.
he got
Gotta have
this
some
this
pull.
blank check book.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, that's a good sign. Your first work is not going to be your masterpiece, right? So if you have an idea that you think is going to be your masterpiece, don't waste it having it be your first thing that you try to do. Like, try to do some other things that aren't your magnum opus
Mm-hmm.
before you get to it, right? Hone your skills.
Yeah. Yeah. So what Stephen King did with that JFK book.
Really, is that Stephen King's masterpiece?
I think it's his best one. But yeah, he had that idea back in like the 70s and then waited and then wrote it in 2011.
Really,
Yep.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. We've reached maximum capacity for Trump impersonations. He was a great author. Speaking of the list, I mean,
Uh-oh.
the
Uh-oh.
yeah. So that's good advice.
Any other advice you'd give?
No,
No?
nope. I gave it all. I gave
Okay.
everything I had. I laid it all on the line for this pod.
All right.
If you're still here, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you
Thank you for being
for
here for
giving
our
us a
12
chance. Thank you
episodes.
for getting through the first like. When do you think we got better? I feel like because we are about to go listen to all of them. We are
It's
about to
been
listen
three
to.
months. 3 months in the making, also.
Yeah,
Our
we
first
yeah.
episode
So
we did in April, like
we've been recording like once
Easter.
every other week.
Yeah.
Like, um, I don't. I think we're gonna be horrified by the first pod. I think we're gonna be. I think we're gonna be.
Yeah, I think we
We're
will
gonna.
be.
We're gonna listen to the first one and be like, we can't put this out. We're
this,
gonna.
this is how we're going to
This,
try to hook people. Oh,
this
no.
this can never like they're never gonna make it to when we finally had a good one like on pod 7. And
Oh,
so
yeah. It might
let
be
me,
seven. The first half, yeah.
who knows? Maybe we were awesome.
We'll see. He's got to put it out there.
Seems unlikely. We'll edit it. It'll be edited.
We'll edit it.
Yeah, we'll clean it up. All right. Well, do you have anything else?
No, I'm just waiting for your final word of advice.
You're right. I do have one more word of advice. I do. I do. If you are directly responsible for your brother's death, do not marry his ex-girlfriend. That is rude. And that's the last thing I'm going to say, except to also say to never fly uphill. Unless you have to. Unless you need.
Unless you
Never
have
mind.
to.
No, never fly uphill, me boys. Don't do it. Don't do it.